Okay, I think we're live.
Awesome. Hello, friends. Welcome to Points and Penguins. This is the 10x Travel live Antarctica trip call. We're going to be answering some questions about the upcoming trip that's going on sale next week. Having a little fun with our friend Neil here, who's coordinating everything for the trip. And it's going to be a good time. I, for one, can tell you this is the first time in my entire life that I've been on a video call wearing a penguin costume, and I'm not upset about it. Like this is not a filter or whatever, like one of the screen options. Like I actually went on Amazon and bought a penguin costume just for this because I'm that excited. Um, and I want to
Overnight
start.
delivery.
Yes, yeah. Someone Amazon sellers like that costume in September. Um, well, let's start by introducing the man of the hour. We have Neill Drake here with us. Neil is the kind of the brains behind the operation here for the Antarctica trip. Neil has been reaching out to us at 10x Travel for like 3 or more years now. Like, hey, we should probably do this trip. And entirely my fault. It was always like, that sounds super cool, but like we have all this other stuff kind of going on, meetups and all this, and just always found a reason to kind of defer. And then finally, I'm not even sure what caused it to break through, but we're like, you know what, we should do this. And then all of a sudden, it's like, wow, there's a ton of people interested in this. This is happening. And Neil, I thank you for your persistence in putting this together, and we're super excited to be partnering with you.
No, I know exactly what it was. You just had one of your teams come back from Antarctica, one of your 10x teams.
Oh, that's right. It
Back.
was Travis.
Yeah, Travis
Travis
just
went to
got back.
Antarctica.
I had hit you up, I think, just by accident at the same time that he had just gotten back, and I was like, "Hey, it's been 3 years of dancing around this idea. What do we think and where are we at?" And then you were like, "Oh, Travis just came back. Now I feel like I know more about it." And then that's from there, and we did it from there, right? That's what kind of set it
Yep.
off. But yeah. No, so thank you so much, Bryce, for the introduction. As you said, my name is Neill Drake. I'm the founder of the Antarctica Travel Group. I've been an expedition guide in Antarctica. This will be my 11th season coming up. And about 7 years ago, we started doing group trips. I started with just small groups, 5, 10 people who had met me through. I also have a Facebook platform like you do, and they wanted to join me. And from there, we started doing 5, 10-person trips to 20-person trips, and then now we are doing full charters. We book out full ships. But one of the things that we're really excited about doing is using our experience with that to work with other organizations like 10x, for example, and sort of build a trip for you. But what's so cool about it is that I've been in 10x since before we even started talking about this. One of my past passengers, Satterfield, she had mentioned 10x to me because I thought I knew about point hacking. I thought I knew what I was doing. And she's like, "You got to join this group called 10x." And I just was like, "Oh, I don't know a single thing right now." So it was after just a few months of being in the group, I saw how engaged your community was. I saw how engaged you were with the community, how amazing your team was, and I thought, perfect opportunity to do a group trip with your audience and your people down in Antarctica. So, yeah, this is something I've been looking forward to for, like you said, many years, and we're here, we're doing it.
We're here. We're doing it. It goes on sale in what, 5 days from now. The interest that we're seeing in kind of the pre-forms and surveys looks to be pretty intense in a good way. And super excited to go on the trip, offer the trip to our readers. I know Antarctica gets asked about a lot, and it's like a particularly difficult destination because it's not like your typical, oh, let's just book a hotel in Antarctica and show up and take an Uber there, right? It's kind of a difficult trip to do, and to be able to do it with a bunch of other points and miles weirdos is like the best way. So excited to have that happen. I also want to introduce Emily, our chief marketing officer. Also, I guess if you've seen the podcast at all on YouTube, you know who Emily is. But Emily has been spearheading everything from our side of the operation, and thank you, Emily, for putting that together. And we're super excited to be able to launch this so soon.
Yeah, me too. I'm stoked. Happy to put the work in to make a epic trip happen.
We will make sure that your penguin suit gets ordered here in good time.
Right. I'm surprised it's not here.
Actually, I feel like
I'm a big believer in praising somebody's efforts to their boss, normally in private, but since I got the both of you here, I'll let you know. We've been working with Emily from the beginning of this for the most part, and she's been a rock star, and she's been, it's really nice because we've got somebody with all the 10x knowledge to sort of translate into the Antarctica world, sort of what's going on. So, yeah. And
Thank you.
I'll take the opportunity to introduce Ricardo. So that's Ricardo up there. Ricardo's part of the Antarctica Travel Group team, and for the most part, when anybody who's listening, when you guys are booking, Rico's going to be the one that you're mostly going to be dealing with. He handles customer service, manifest payments. He's the guy who's going to be knocking down your door when you're late on your payments. So Ricardo's my right hand man. He's been doing this just almost as long as I have. He's joined my company right at the start. So yeah, you'll be hearing from him quite a bit. So Ricardo's in Brazil.
Yeah, closer to Antarctica. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly shorter trip to get down there.
We'll be together over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed. So viewers, go ahead and start posting any questions that you have in the comments here on YouTube. You can actually put them in the Facebook group event too. We can kind of pull from everywhere. We have some that we'll kind of start with here. But I have to admit, selfishly, I want to start off with one of my own questions, Neil. And tell me if anyone's ever asked this before, but is it against policy or illegal in any way for an adult, just a random person, to wear a penguin suit on this trip and to go into like one of the big fields of penguins and try to blend in and see if they'll accept him? Because my friend is curious.
Yeah, your friend is curious, and I'm going to pass on a message to your friend. But make sure you take clever, really good notes. I don't want anything lost in translation. As per IATO, which is the overseeing body of it, there is nothing in the rule book that will prevent your friend from wearing a penguin costume. So
Excellent.
there are no legal issues there. However, unfortunately, there is a bit of a concern when it comes to our distance to the wildlife. We do have a minimum distance that we need to maintain from the wildlife. So while I can't see the penguins recognizing you as not one of their own, I think we just make it hard. So there'll be opportunities. We have a 5-meter rule, but there'll be some opportunities on where you'll be in the shuffles if we're delicate about it, if that makes sense. Yeah. So nothing preventing you from wearing that as long as you don't go hugging a penguin. So.
Darn it! That was my life dream.
Yeah. So Bryce, you had mentioned something at the beginning about how booking a trip to Antarctica is very different than every other sort of trip, right? And one of the most common questions that we see are people who compare an Antarctica trip to an actual cruise, to like a Carnival cruise or a Royal Caribbean cruise or Norwegian cruise. There's a lot of confusion because those cruise ships have a lot of different policies. For example, for the most part, you buy the cabin and you fit as many people in the cabin for the price of a cabin. Certain things about the all-inclusions, the non-exclusions. People have asked me, how many ports are we going to go to? There are no ports in Antarctica. We don't have a dock. We don't have a town or a city. There's not a Senor Frogs when we get to the ice.
Hard Rock Cafe.
Sorry to break the news to you. Yeah, there's no Hard Rock. So one thing that we always like to, one thing we discuss as a team is that from us, when we work with people on Antarctica trips, we sort of assume that they've done a little bit of research ahead of time and they're reaching out to us and we're just kind of helping them navigate what trip and space they want to go into. What I've sort of noticed with your audience, your 10X people, is that these people maybe didn't necessarily have Antarctica like on their list of things to do, and then they see this opportunity and they're all for it, but they haven't gotten a lot of the research in. So the thing I just kind of want to clarify, or to sort of make more sense, is that you have to think about this as just a normal expedition or an adventure or a trip that just happens to take place on a ship, but in no way is it a cruise. It's got a couple of the same things similar to it, but people are going to start to notice that when we start going through the pricing, the policies, cancellations, insurance, those kind of things, is there's not a lot that translates over from the cruise industry. Certain regulations like CLIA, which is like what oversees sort of like safety and stuff, there'll be some similarities. But I think one of the biggest questions we're going to get is about the pricing and how things are going to come out from there. And that's what I'm happy to address with some people and sort of clarify it. And that's one of the questions on there is about solo cabins. And we got actually a couple of emails about this. When you have a cabin, the most relatable way to explain it to you is you're booking a seat on an airplane, right? So if you got 3 seats on an airplane and you've got 3 beds in a cabin on a ship, you book your seat and only your seat, and then you might have to share that cabin or that row on the plane with 2 other people. You're not buying when you're making your purchase, you're not buying the whole cabin and then you're like, oh, I can bring one friend or two friends. You're buying your spot. And the reason it's like that in the Antarctica industry is because we have regulations that only allow us to have 100 people on land at a time, and you have a classification of a ship. So ships are 100 or less passengers, and then you have, the majority of ships are around 176. We're going to be going with 189 on ours, and there's a classification that brings you up from one passenger to 199 is one classification of ship, and then from 200 up to 499 is another classification of ship, and then 500 and above is another classification. When we think about the 500 and above, we're thinking Princess Cruise, we're thinking Royal Caribbean, we're thinking some of the larger ships. They're not allowed to set foot on land if they have 500 or more people on board. When we have from 200 to 499, they are only allowed to visit one landing site a day, and they can only visit that one spot, and they have to go out in separate groups while other people are waiting on shore. When we're 100 or 99 or less, we can visit two different locations and we can have the whole ship off at the same time. So even though we can only have 100 people on land at a time, let's say we've got 189 people, we'll call it 190 for easy math, call it 200 for easy math. We have 100 on shore, and then we have 100 that are actually going in the Zodiacs, and they're looking for whales, they're looking at icebergs, penguins jumping on the icebergs, glaciers, stuff like that. So with weather conditions allowing, we have the whole ship separated, the whole group is off the ship at the same time, just in two different locations. So the group A will be on land for about an hour and a half or so, and group B will be out doing a Zodiac cruise. And then after an hour and a half or so, they're going to swap. And then the people in the Zodiac will get dropped on shore, and then the people on shore will get taken to a Zodiac cruise. And then you're going to go do that for the morning activity. So you're outside for about 3.5 hours in the morning. And then we're going to go back to the ship, we're going to have lunch, and we're going to change locations, and we're going to do it all over again. Because of that, because we're confined to such a small passenger capacity to maximize our experience, we don't have the flexibility of a larger cruise ship with 5,000 cabins that we can just, whoever can fit in the cabin can fit in the cabin. So every single person on the ship is accounted for in terms of like the overall cost. So if you're going to take, for example, one of the questions I had was, if I book a solo cabin and then my friend wants to join, can they just come in my cabin for free? And unfortunately, the answer is no. You basically will, your price would become that of a twin, and then your friend would pay the twin cabin price. The cabins are set up exactly so every single person in there is paying for their cabin. But like an airplane seat, let's say you book your seat and nobody sits in that row with you, you don't have to pay the remainder for the left of the seats. You just got kind of lucky, right? You got an empty middle seat. You're like, sweet, it didn't cost you extra money, but you didn't have to buy the whole row. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So are we allowed? Are we allowed to just like casually leave like a bag on one bed and then like a sweater on the other and just hope people keep walking by? Like,
I've seen all those
hey,
pictures.
they're coming right back. Don't worry, this seat is definitely taken.
So, and in that regards, what we'll do is that we have a WhatsApp community that we've set up, and if you're a solo traveler and you're interested in coming on the trip and you want to share so you can save a little bit of money, we're going to pair you with the same gendered roommate or two depending on your cabin category, and we have actually a WhatsApp chat in our 10x Antarctica community, which is like a roommate finder thread, which is kind of like Hinge for roommates, like Tinder for roommates on the chat. So we can try and pair some, people can try and get to know each other. Maybe they saw another friend on there and they want to join. So
Yeah,
that's
hopefully
awesome.
that's sort of like the big bulk of the questions. I'm going to pull up this YouTube chat and see what we have here in the meantime.
Yeah,
Also, I just want to acknowledge Jenny is in the group. Jenny is one of my very, very, very first passengers to ever come to Antarctica with me, and we've stayed very good friends since. It was one of the best trips I've ever been on, and she's our #1 supporter. She's always there. She's got our back.
That's awesome.
Is Jenny coming on the trip?
Jenny, I don't know. I don't think she is. She's already been, and then she went to the Arctic.
Okay.
Yeah, and while he's looking that up, I think other questions, like one of the ones I'm seeing most frequently is like, hey, when does this thing go on sale? And the answer to that question is and Emily, stop me if I'm wrong here, Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. is when the sales open. The link is included in the event that we have here. We'll be promoting it all over 10x, of course. But it is first come, first serve. So there's kind of tiered pricing for early bird, and if you make your payment entirely in advance, we threw in some goodies as 10x Travel, including like a VIP dinner the night before the cruise in Argentina, in the city that we depart from. Free 10x Travel membership for the year.
You can say the city, Bryce. Come on.
Man, the podcast, every episode, it's always like, is it a advantage? So I actually don't even have it. Wait, hold on.
Ushuaia.
Ushuaia.
How did I do?
One of my favorite things to do is to try and hear people pronounce Ushuaia for the first time.
Yeah.
Did we get it?
Wishy wash, Ushawashawa. Oh yeah, Ushuaia.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite things. Sorry to cut you off.
No worries. Yeah,
well, I think one of the questions too was we threw in 10xt plus, and one of the questions was whether that was just for a year or not, and it would just be for 1 year. If you're already a member too, we'll just refund you your most recent payment. So that should take care of that.
And even if you don't win or buy and get 10x Travel Plus, I'm struggling to think of a better scenario to use our award booking team than I need to get to Ushuaia on the same date as 100 other points and miles junkies. That award space is harder to find than Taylor Swift floor seats and the Eras tour. But if you use our team, that is definitely going to be a helpful asset for you here.
And I think we discussed too, one of the benefits, if you do the pay in full, you get the award, you get the 10x plus, but you're going to get a consult too, because if you're paying in full, you can probably hit 3 or 4 sign-up bonuses, right? 2 or 3, maybe even 4 sign-up bonuses. So I think you work with the team and say oh, you're based in this airport, or this is your home hub, and this is the best airline for you. So maybe try and help them pick the best cards for the sign-up bonuses so that they can maximize their rewards right off the bat, because that's a huge spend. If you're spending $10,000, you get. That's probably 3 sign-up bonuses.
Yeah.
That's a really good benefit, I think, as well too, to make sure that they're maximizing their rewards. We've also
everyone who goes on the trip too almost gets the 10x plus experience, because there's gonna be a lot of us there from the 10x Travel team. So we intend to do a couple of presentations on points and miles stuff. Actually, I'm curious, everyone watching, what you'd want to hear about, so we can be thinking about putting those together. But we'll have presentations there. We'll be socializing with everyone. It's okay to ask points and miles questions. So it's almost like if you need a consult, just Bryce is sitting at the end of the bar over there, and head on down and ask some questions. That's kind of a perk of the trip.
If you've ever been to any of our meetups, this is just a 10-day meetup.
Yes, 10-day meetup. First one in which seasickness might be a concern. And actually, that was another question I want to get to, but
we'll get to it. We got one from Martha here. Martha's asking about if 2 people book the Cat D Twin at $22,980, the early bird pay in full, include essentially everything but the flights. So here's what you can expect to have to pay on your own, right? So we have the whole list of inclusions and exclusions on the website. Pretty much, you just need to get yourself to Ushuaia. That's correct. We're going to provide the hotel the night before. That's not always standard, especially in a charter. But as a 10X member myself, I know how it's very challenging to find a hotel with points in Ushuaia. So he said, let's just include it for everybody and make it one less headache for you guys to have to worry about. And it'll be a group hotel, right? So then when you're on board, we're providing, with all the early bird bookings, everybody's getting their full drink package included. So food's included, park is included, boots are included, the Zodiac landings are included, the Zodiac cruises and landings are included, the lectures that you're presenting from our team of scientists, those are all included. We're throwing in a free kayaking for everybody who books at the early bird. That's like a $350 value. You get 1 kayak outing per, and it'll be booked in the order in which you sign up. So the order that you sign up is the kayaking order that we're going to go. So the earlier you book, the higher priority you get. Pay in fulls won't get a priority over those who didn't pay in full on the kayaking. It's just straight up order of commitment to the trip. Not order of payment, not order of your invoice. It's order of commitment from the trip. And then other than that, you can expect gratuities. So you'll have to pay your gratuities and your travel insurance. Those are going to be your only two real costs. There's Wi-Fi, there's laundry on board, there's a gift shop. There are certain things on board like you would, sort of optional things. The Wi-Fi pricing might change in the next like 2 years or so, but Wi-Fi is usually $150 for like a 24-hour package, but it's not Monday 9 a.m. till Tuesday 9 a.m. It's like a bank, so you log in, use it for 2 hours. You got 22 hours left to use the rest of the trip. That gets by everybody. And
have you heard of TikTok though? I mean, that's like
it'll load
2 days of TikTok.
Just scroll like a little doom scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
we're gonna have basic Wi-Fi included.
What's that?
So,
like, wonderful.
We're gonna have basic Wi-Fi included, 500 megabytes per person. So if you're just using WhatsApp or just maybe reading text email, that's enough.
So if you want additional Wi-Fi, extra Wi-Fi and stuff, you do have to buy it. If you've seen what Starlink costs on ships, right, you feel like you're actually getting a deal on it. And then gratuities are about $15 a day, and it's just based on your experience and how you felt. You can tip more, you can tip less. It's kind of standard on a lot of cruise ships too, so there's a similarity there. But, the hospitality team is, they're rock stars, and they deserve every single penny of our gratitude and our gratuity. So other than that, that's about, all there is. You don't have to pay for anything extravagant. There's no surprise fees like the price you're seeing on the website. That's taxes, that's fees, that's port fees, that's IATO fees, that's everything all in one price. There is no service charges. We're waiving the credit card fees for everybody. We want to just make sure that you see one price, and that's what you're getting into. And then the last one's your travel insurance. And if you're well traveled, then you know enough about travel insurance, but everyone's required to have a mandatory $250,000 medical evacuation policy. We have a couple of recommendations that we go. I don't know, do you guys have partners that you work with in travel insurance? And
we do.
Yeah, so we'll kind of let you guys look at that. We'll just make sure that your recommendation or your partners make sure that they cover Antarctica. Not everybody does. We have a list of them, but we'll check with you guys on what you think is best. And you have two different types of insurance coverages when it comes to these trips. You have your a la carte, which is just basically your medical evacuation insurance, and they usually wrap a couple things in, incidentals, lost luggage, things like that. For a trip like this, depending on your age group and your location, it should be about $120 to $180 would be about the average for an insurance policy for Antarctica. If you choose to insure the cost of the trip, like cancel for any reason, stuff like that, you can start seeing some $600, $700, $800 policies if you wanted like a cancel for any reason. God forbid you got sick or a family emergency or something like that. We've been asked about our cancellation policy, so it's kind of maybe a good also time to mention it.
A lot of questions about that.
It is good to have those policies because this is standard for the Antarctica industry, not necessarily just us and our charters, but within 180 days, it's $1,000 cancellation fee. From 180 to 90 days, you're responsible for 25% of the fare. And then from 90 days until departure, you're responsible for the entire amount of the fare. Now, we have a little bit of flexibility that because we're the charterer and we kind of have the ship for 10 days and we're human beings and we understand that people maybe run into situations. And on a case-by-case basis, we'll be able to help you transfer it, something like that. And again, we don't want to ever put anybody in a bad position, but we do recommend having travel insurance because there just might be situations we can't help you as much as we want to. But let's say the trip is sold out and we've got a waiting list of 150 people, which is what I expect based on the response we have. And you have somebody and you had God forbid, an emergency you had to cancel, and I've got a waiting list of people I can fill with your spot. I can transfer your booking for you and get you out of what you owe us because it'll be replaced elsewhere. But so it's just going to be a case by case on that. So,
yep. Thank you for clarifying that. So we talked about refundable. Now, someone asked, are there any payment plans?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have the two payment options, right? We actually, it's sort of three. We have the pay in full up front. And if you take advantage of the pay in full promotion, we give you a little bit of extra time to make your payment, your full payment, because we know you want to hit your sign-up bonuses, get your cards, all that kind of stuff. There's flexibility there. And then the other standard payment plan, if you wanted to pay over time, we take $1,000 to secure your spot. That's your commitment to the trip, is $1,000. And then I think, was it 45 days, Rico? When did we have Rico's going to read out the whole plan because we have it in stages, right? So it's 1,000 up front, and then within 21
And
days or
then
something, we have
60 days for the rest of the 25%.
so
And then
25% is your total. So 25% is the down payment. That's the deposit, right? And we could either take all 25 up front, or we take 1,000, lock your name in it, give you some time to get some new cards, move some money around. We understand that people have to shuffle things, and then you have 60 days. You said, Rico?
yeah, 60 days.
60
For
days to make the 25% deposit. Then another 25% is due
July 29th, which is
July
210
29th.
days 210 days before departure, and then the final balance due October 27th, which is 180 days before departure.
Yeah. So we have payment plans for people. And again, we're super flexible with these kinds of things. As long as we see commitment to the trip, we want to make sure that this trip is as accessible to everybody. We are not on the accounting, canceling your trip the day you're late or you need a little bit of extra time or something like that. We're totally
your card's
totally
being shipped in the mail. It's all fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got another one asking if Emily Lee asked if it codes as travel, which
yes, we code as travel. That was a very deliberate thing. Yes, and actually, I think that was in my very first email to Bryce. Was this is a great way to hit subs, and we code as travel.
Booms.
Yep.
So basically, if you want the trip, Venmo Bryce, and I'll just run everything through my cards. Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah. Cool. All the points to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, someone asked, can we use points? I assume the answer to that is going to be a no, unless it's like, of course, refundable, like erase charge type stuff. But I wanted to see if you had any thoughts on that, Neil.
Unfortunately, I did some research. We have no way of really accepting points for this trip. That's pretty standard in the Antarctica industry for the small boutique expedition cruises. The larger ships, they might have partnerships and stuff, and I've heard and seen about it, but those are usually the drive-bys, no foot on land. We're dealing with very small expedition companies out of Denmark, out of, the Albatross is out of Copenhagen. So they're not dialed into the point system quite yet. So unfortunately, no. But your flights will be paid for with points.
Obviously, yep.
Yes. What else do we?
We had a few questions about kids and minimum age. Do we have a cutoff on that we can share?
Yeah. So we there's a sort of a soft cutoff at 8. It's recommended 12. And there is flexibility for under 12, but it's a hard cutoff at 8. And the main factor between the 8 and the 12, the reason it's sort of a soft cutoff, is because it's more important the height and the weight of the child to make sure that they can use the safety gear. We have like immersion suits in case of emergencies, life jackets and stuff like that. So if you're feeding your 9-year-old like their spinach and they're, they eat their Wheaties and they can fit into the safety gear, we can make exceptions for them. Yes. So
we got like over a year to like get those kids eating spinach. Like if you want to go to Antarctica, you have to eat all of this spinach. Done.
So yes. So we're a kid-friendly environment. I actually, as a guide, I know there's a lot of people who think like, oh, I'm going on this trip, I don't want there to be kids, all this kind of stuff. I'm going to share my own personal experience from doing over 120 voyages to Antarctica. The trips with kids are usually the most amount of fun, and I'll tell you why. There's something about watching a kid make a snowball in Antarctica and looking at it with this wonderment that we have lost as adults. The questions they ask during the lectures, they're so much more engaged and immersed in it than we think we could ever be. And I love having kids. And I think for the most part, like, there's so much activity, there's so much engagement on these ships that you don't find the kids getting bored and like being rambunctious. And I feel like if you're the kind of people who are going on this kind of trip, you probably have a well-mannered kid, because this is a trip for people who are like really expeditioning, people who are more outgoing, people who have like a daring side to them. And the kids have always been a real pleasure to have on board. I can't think of one trip where I've ever had a kid where I was like, oh, this kid shouldn't be here. So I can tell you there are way more adults I would rather not have on board than kids. So I've got plenty of adults. I'm
Bring
like,
your kids.
you lock yourself in your room. So Yeah.
Cool.
And then a quick follow-up, like on the flip side, like we had a question, how strenuous is this trip? Is this something that someone should need to be quite physically fit to do? Or like what is a typical expectation?
We curate these trips to be made as accessible for everybody's own limitations. There are strenuous parts of it and there are non-strenuous parts of it, and they're always available for both people to participate in, right? So a perfect example is that when we go to a landing site in February, when we're going, is a great time to go, especially if you are a little mobility challenged, because we don't have to deal with the really large snowbanks on the landing sites. The landings off the Zodiacs are much more relaxed and accessible. But let's say, for the most part, it's pretty flat where we do the landings, because if you've seen Antarctica on a postcard, there's glaciers and there's mountains, and we're not strapping crampons to our feet and rappelling up these mountains. We have a small area about the size of a football field or two that we can walk on for the most part, and there's penguin rookeries everywhere overlooking glaciers. And for that, it's all very accessible. We have people who have come with prosthetic legs, we have people who have come with canes, walkers, people in their 60s, 70s, 80s. I think 87 we had on a trip last year, Rico, right? The girls, they brought their grandfather, who was like the second oldest person other than Buzz Aldrin to ever go to Antarctica. That was on record. That was their claim to fame, that they kept telling everybody that. My grandfather's the second oldest person behind Buzz Aldrin to come to Antarctica. And he was totally fine. And what it is, and he was mobility challenged. But you only have to go within your limitations, and you're never going to be told you can't go on land because this is too strenuous. What we typically do for people when they can't participate in the longer hikes or the more uphill hikes, we just put a box or a barrel down on the beach, and they hang out with one of the guides while everybody else is doing their hike. And I'll tell you, it's one of my favorite places to be when everybody's gone, because you have the beach to yourself and nobody's chatting and nobody's, there's not a lot of noise. And you can hear the ice cracking in the distance. You'll see the whales swim by that nobody else got to see. The penguins will start swimming back up on the beach. They'll, they surf in the little waves, and then they come up on the beach, and then you'll just be you and them, and that's it. So if you're mobility challenged and you're worried about, I can't make that hike to the mountain peak, I promise you're going to have as good or better of an experience down on the beach when everybody else is gone. So there's a whole crew of very experienced guides who are going to be able to help you in and out of the Zodiac. We always have a fun joke when we see people kind of struggling in and out. Grace is the name of the game, and style of points. We make it fun. We don't make anybody ever feel excluded or make anybody ever feel embarrassed about getting out of the Zodiac a little goofy. It's meant for everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Nice. I'm looking at the chat here.
I'm not sure if I missed this. Morgan asked about booking. How does booking work with 3 people? Can you book a cabin and put 3 people in it? Yes. So we have 2 different options for a triple cabin. We have a triple porthole cabin, which is the F category, and we have a triple balcony cabin, which is the C triple balcony cabin. The twin or the triple porthole is 3 single beds or a single bed and a matrimonial bed. All the beds are modular on these ships, except for the French balconies. So we can do 3 beds in a cabin on an F triple porthole, and that'll be 3 twin beds. There's no sofa there. If we do a triple balcony, we can have a matrimonial bed and a double couch bed, or 2 twin beds and a double couch bed. But I'll tell you, the couch bed is not grandma's inner spring match, like old, you don't feel the bar and the springs poking through your vertebrae. It's a nice, comfortable, memory foam-ish style bed. I used to sleep on it a lot. When I was guiding, sometimes me and my roommate and I would get, if you ever seen Below Decks, we've gotten upgraded from the dungeons of the ship, if the ship's got some extra space. And then my roommate would stay on on the real bed, and I'd sleep on the couch bed. And I'm 6'2", 250, and I'm totally fine on the bed. So you can have 3 in a balcony cabin or 3 in a porthole cabin. How does the booking work if I'm traveling solo and signing up for a roommate? Do we get the same perks for paying in full? Yes. So Leanne, if you sign up paying full solo and you're planning to book with a roommate, you get all the same perks. So you and your having a roommate, not having a roommate, there's no penalties for not having a roommate ahead of time. You sign up, you get the perks of the pay in full, and then we'll assign you a roommate, or you can use the roommate chat and you can try and find one. You can just put a little bit about yourself, like, my name's Leanne, I like long walks on the beach, and I'm a Virgo. Like, who's looking at
There was one question, Neil, for people who don't use WhatsApp, how can they be matched with a roommate?
I hate to, well, that's a little tricky, and the reason is because we do have to abide by the like GDPR and equivalent sort of like privacy policies. So actually sharing names and cabins and all that kind of stuff, we do have some privacy policies that we need to respect. So it's hard for us to just kind of go out and like find you one. But I also think that if you're not using WhatsApp now, it's probably a really good time to start, because we use the WhatsApp chat as a universal chat for planning the VIP dinner. We make announcements. We'll rally everybody together for the happy hour and stuff. Like, WhatsApp is super secure. It's encrypted, nothing to worry about. It's a very easy app to use. If you have any questions, shoot us an email. We can walk you through it, send you the link. But we will use any sort of majorly official communications. We're going to go through the email to make sure that they go to everybody, and they'll be relayed in the WhatsApp. But the WhatsApp is going to have the more social aspect of it, the kind of getting to know each other, sort of planning we're going to do a hosting happy hour for everybody the night before, and we'll post more info about that, stuff like that. So I would definitely suggest getting on the WhatsApp program, and we're more than happy to help you with it. It's a super valuable tool, especially with all the chats that we have separated. That would be my suggestion.
Cool. I got another one for you if you want it.
Yeah, keep going.
Emily Lee asks, are there any cabins that are not an ensuite? On the website, some descriptions say ensuite, some do not.
They're all ensuite. Every single cabin on the ship has its own private bathroom.
Yeah, and I saw that question and I already corrected it in the website, so it's already.
Thank you. Cool. Melinda asks, could we do a Cat C twin balcony as a room share if we're solo?
Yes. So, Melinda, what you would do is you would book the cabin yourself as a solo, and then we would pair you with somebody else who booked as a solo, and you would pay just your own price. You don't have to pay for the solo occupancy of the cabin. We do have a solo occupancy cabin. Typically, it's a 1.75x single supplement fee. But we were looking at the numbers yesterday, and we lowered it way below that. I think it's closer to 1.4, I would say. So we wanted to make those cabins. We understand people really want those. I think 1.7 is the industry standard. I think it's a lot. So what we do is we lower the price of the solo C cabins, the solo balcony cabins, because we make more triple balcony cabins so that people have a low cost option for a shared balcony cabin. There's the twin balcony, usually, which is for people who don't only want the one roommate, or the traveling partners, friends, family who want their private, and then we have the solo. So we sort of made more triples so we can lower the price of the solos.
Awesome, thank you. We've got a motion sickness question, if you're ready to tackle that one.
It's my favorite. So I don't know if everybody can see on the screen. My name is Neill Drake. That is not a stage name. I could hold up a picture.
It's a great stage name if it was, though.
People ask me all the time if it's a fake name, and I'm trying to find my passport or my driver's license or something.
Careful.
Maybe don't.
People might screenshot it.
Yeah.
So I have a personal. When I give a lecture about the history of the Drake Passage, and I say I am not a geologist, I'm not an oceanographer, I am not a historian, but there is one thing that qualifies me to talk about the Drake Passage more than anybody else, and that's my name. So the Drake Passage is a very fun topic to discuss, because for some people it's part of the trip, and I agree 100%. The Drake Passage is a part of the trip. Your trip doesn't start when we get to Antarctica. Your trip starts when we enter the Drake Passage. That is the most infamous passage in the world, and there's part of it, there's trips that fly over, and then there's trips that sail through it. And I am a huge advocate for sailing through it, because when you arrive in Antarctica, what happens is that we sail through the Drake Passage for 2 days, and we usually arrive at around like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. We slide in the cover of darkness. We sneak into Antarctica. You wake up, you go like this, and it is a postcard in front of your house, or in front of your cabin. It is like, it's not like land ho, and then like slowly Antarctica shows up. No, we slip in after the Drake Passage at night, and you are just like, you're in it. Like I'm telling you what it's like, and when you experience it, it's not even remotely close to what I'm telling you. When you go through the Drake Passage, you feel like you've earned the right to enjoy that experience. Like 6 in the morning, everybody is up, and the last thing on your mind was, "Whoa, I've been seasick for the last 2 days." You are here. You earned it. It's awesome. The Drake Passage is not predictable. There is no better time of year that the Drake Passage is calmer or rougher. There's anybody who tells you that, oh, it's better in February than March, like they're full of it. It's not true at all. I've been in the worst in November, and I've been in the worst in March, and I've everywhere in between. We have a chance of sailing down with a Drake Lake, we call it, and coming back with a Drake Shake, or vice versa. You never know. You could sail down in the worst seas of your entire life, like soup is off the menu, be in Antarctica for 4 days, and then we come back and it's a smooth lake the whole way back. I typically like there to be a little bit of a rough Drake coming down, nothing to ruin the trip or anybody's experience. A little roughness coming down so that you feel like you've earned the Drake, and then a nice smooth sailing home so that we can have some drinks and we can dance and karaoke and party and have all that kind of stuff. We have a doctor on board, so if you feel like you want to have treatment on board, they do have, we usually start with the Dramamine. The scopolamine patches are very, very common. Definitely there's prescription only, so see a doctor. I'm not a doctor, so don't constitute this as legal advice. Go see your doctor. But scopolamine patches are really good. Rico, you do the patch?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I do the patch, but when you guys bring it to me, because we don't have them in Brazil, unfortunately. But yeah, I like them. They're really good.
And then if you're ever really, really seasick, their doctor has a little right in the butt cheek, and it's like an anti-nausea medicine.
Of the trip, right?
Yeah.
What's that?
That's included in the price of the trip. I'm not going to get a $900 bill from my American health insurance.
I think it's like 40. I think it's like $40 if you have to get the shot. So, but I'll tell you, I saw this girl for a full day, was just in bed, couldn't get out of bed. She wasn't feeling good. She was super seasick. She took the shot in the butt. 2 hours later, I saw her at the bar taking shots.
Okay.
Yeah, shot for shot.
Shots,
She's
then
bad.
shots.
The reality of it is that the ship that we're taking is one of the best in the industry. It's got the most advanced level of stabilizers. It's got the X Infinity bow. It's the Bilstein X bow. I've made over 40 voyages to Antarctica on this specific ship that we're using, and I would say that compared to all the other ships that I've been on, I see the lowest rate of seasickness. So it's unavoidable. And there's no ship that if you're gonna go, you're not gonna get seasick on. And if you're susceptible to it, it's gonna happen. But I'll tell you that the second we get to Antarctica, it is like glass the whole time we're there. We will not feel the motion of the ship at all. So it's just the Drake Passage you have to worry about. But when we get to Antarctica, and what's nice is it's not like a cruise where you're seasick. You get to Cabo, you're seasick. You get to Cozumel, you're seasick. You get to Antigua.
Power goes out. There's no running water. You're stuck in the Gulf. Right. Wait, am I the only one that watched that documentary?
So it's you deal with the Drake Passage. You have the whole time you're in Antarctica with nothing to worry about, and then it's the sail home. So, but yeah, Dramamine, ginger's really good. A couple of people swear by the relief bands. The doctor on board can always help you if you need to. I would just, crackers, bananas, drink some good water. If you're really concerned about it, get the lowest. We have deck 3 is the porthole cabins. Deck 4 is balcony cabins. You want to stick to deck 3 or deck 4. This isn't your typical ship where you want to be as midship as possible because it's an X-bow. So pretty much any forward to back is pretty similar. But deck 3 or 4 will feel the motion less than decks 5, 6, and 7. So balcony, French balconies are on deck 7. A cabins are on deck 7. They're going to feel a little bit more, but again, like I said, if you're going to get seasick, being on deck 4 versus deck 7 is not going to make a difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Tackle one or two more maybe. And I saw one just came in from user Bryce. He wants to know, whoever named it Early Bird missed a chance to call it the Prompt Penguin discount. Yeah, I think that should be the thing going forward. Thank you, Bryce, for that question. Anyway, sorry.
I missed the what penguin?
The Prompt Penguin.
The Prompt Penguin. We can.
Absolutely.
Yes. Wait, Ricardo's already updated the website. Boom.
Yeah.
That's a funny question because in our last charter, we actually called it Penguin Priority.
There you go.
Oh, I like that.
Hey,
Okay.
But yeah, I
Ricardo,
can change it to front penguin.
So I'm gonna do a rapid fire on a couple questions
Yeah.
here because we are running out of some time. And there's a bunch of them I want to address really quickly. So quick lightning round. Which category rooms qualify for room share and for solo travelers? So every cabin is available for a room share except for the ones listed as solos and the French balcony cabin. So the Fs, the Ds, the Cs, the Bs, the As, and the Polar Premium Suite are all available for solo travelers, and that should be clarified on the website as you'll see the information there. Kelly, is there a link we can look up potential itinerary and cost info? Yes, everything is posted on 10xantarctica.com.
I'll put it in the chat here.
If we have MyFire Starlink, will those work? Yes, I bring my Starlink Mini with me, but you have to pay for the Ocean plan if you go out. I have the Starlink Mini with the Roam Unlimited plan. Then I have to pay $2 per gig while I'm underway with my own Starlink. Once we get close to Antarctica, it counts as land, and you don't have to pay the $2 per gig. It's only in the Drake Passage. If 2 people book and each get a 10x award booking consult that are flying together, can we use one for the Antarctica booking for both people and bank one later for the booking consults for each?
Great question. I see no reason not to, right? We wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
But thank you for being honest and asking. The real question is, if they find one award seat, which one of you gets it?
Yeah.
You got to work that out ahead of time, fam. Be like,
Yeah, that's no problem.
Adrian Wise, would a regular annual insurance plan cover this trip? You have to call your insurance company and just make sure that they'll give you $250,000 of medical evacuation insurance that covers Antarctica. And they're going to ask what kind of trip it is. Sometimes a lot of companies like World Nomads won't cover trips that go into the continent of Antarctica, but they will cover the cruise portions of Antarctica. So just verify with your insurance company. Can you share info on safety, equipment sizes? Melinda, if you've got a question about the sizes, just send me a message and we'll discuss it. There's a height and a weight that they give us on the ship. I just don't have it off my hand. Speaking of Albatross, so happy you're using the ship and watching ATG for a while. Oh, Shelly, thank you so much. Is a trip good for an 81? Megan Moe, is a trip good for an 81-year-old? If your mother feels comfortable on her own feet and she wants to participate, even if she doesn't want to go out and she wants to watch the ship from afar, absolutely an 81-year-old is welcome. The only thing that I would say is just check with your primary care family physician and just make sure that the doctors have any concerns about them being gone for this far, because there are no hospitals in Antarctica. It requires helicopters to get people out. So if there's any sort of underlying conditions that your primary care is worried about, I would just check with them first. But I don't see any reason. We have diabetics that come on board. We have people with cerebral palsy come on board. It's all up to your own mother's personal health and how she feels, but there's no restrictions on that, no. Will there be future trips after this one? I don't know. We'll see, Alice. Maybe. We'll see how good this one is. Do we have a link already? What's the name of the company? So Trisha Griffin, if you go to 10xantarctica.com, you'll see a link. That's the link with all the page info. We're going on with Albatross Expeditions, who has been recently partnered and bought out by Polar Latitudes. And by the time we go, the transition will have happened. But for the most part, the heart of Albatross is still staying there. They're just going under a new name, some new upper management stuff, things that the passengers aren't going to notice. A lot of the same guides, same hospitality. They're switching to sea chefs, which is really good. They're going from Anglo-Eastern to sea chefs, which is the next level up of hospitality and food. Big plus. Website Trisha, 10xantarctica.com. Everyone forgets the C in Antarctica. ARCTICA. Any discount for people who don't drink? Emily, no. Unfortunately, there are no discounts for people who don't drink, and that's just because the whole drink package is as a whole. So there's no way to pull people on and off the drink package. So we can't give a discount because you're not paying for the drink package anyway. They're essentially billing us and we're giving it to you for free. So the discount for the drink package is because they book us for the whole ship and they don't count heads. Because let's say I don't drink, or I say I don't drink, so I don't pay, but Emily drinks, and then Emily starts sneaking me drinks. The hospitality staff just wants to avoid all that together. So we can't do any discounts for the non-drinking. When it says per person price versus whole cabin, maybe I missed this, but I'm confused. If we have a party of 2, the whole cabin cost is less than 2 times the price per person. Is that correct?
Rico, I was double checking the prices. I didn't find where the price is different, but maybe you were looking at the full retail price, because there's three different lines. The first one is the full retail. The second one is the discounted price for early bird or for prompt angling, and then the third line is the price for the whole cabin. So maybe they were comparing the first line to the third, but you should be comparing the second line to the third, because the first line is just the full price that we are not using right now. It's just for a comparison.
Yeah.
And last question, just joined. What's the main company that's doing this? So 10x is your host, and our company, Antarctica Travel Group, we are the ones who are building, curating, leading the trip, handling all the bookings, the reservations, in the customer experience. And then the ship operator is Albatross Expeditions. And I think that hits everything that's in the chat. We had to lose Bryce to
He froze, but he's trying to come back.
I think we'll wait for Bryce to come back, and we can, if anybody has any last questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Did we hit everything that was in that email? Let me see if I can pull it up. Payment plan, activities are weather dependent. The activities are weather dependent. Do we get a refund if we can't do them? So if the trip doesn't leave because of weather, which is extremely unlikely, you'll get a full refund. If we leave the pier and we get to Antarctica and unfortunately due to bad weather we can't get off the ship, then no, there are no refunds given. That's just the element of expedition cruising. But I'll tell you, in my 10 plus years of doing this, I've never been on a ship where we haven't gotten people off the ship. And it's normal to have one or two cancellations while we're in Antarctica. It's normal for that to happen. That's standard across the whole industry. That's kind of, I mean, if you look at it, that's the beauty of Antarctica. You want that. You want to see what the roughness of Antarctica is really like. So if we don't sail because of weather, yes, there's a full refund. But we don't refund because we couldn't get off the ship on a Wednesday and we only got off on a Thursday. There's no sort of prorated refunds. That's the industry standard. What kind of food is served, and can you accommodate allergies and diets? It's actually very good food. I would say it's a mixture of all types of cuisines. You have a very large breakfast buffet and a lunch buffet. There's charcuterie, fresh fruit. There's there's egg stations. Every day is kind of different. Lunch stations, there's always like 3 different proteins. There's a vegan, a vegetarian, a whole bunch of vegetable options. Again, charcuterie. Then there's usually a cutting station or a serving station with a chef. And then do we accommodate allergies and diets? Yes, they're very good about allergies and diets. Just let us know ahead of time so that we can prepare them. And if your allergy is you can only drink IPAs, maybe we can't accommodate you. But if you're vegan, vegetarian, halal's a little trickier, kosher's a little trickier. So you'll have to let us know well in advance because we understand the limitations of those. But
one thing that I just need to add about allergies is that the kitchen is not equipped properly for avoiding cross-contamination. So I know some people have gluten allergy, that they can't have any kind of gluten in the kitchen at all. So that's unfortunately not possible. They only have one kitchen. They will make your food accordingly, but there might be cross-contamination.
Good point. Will the ship cross the circle? No, unfortunately. Those are just longer trips, and we're not going to be able to make it that far south. We will get pretty far south. We're shooting for Peterman Island, which will be like a stone's throw. But, I mean, by stone's throw in regards to things, but it's going to be an extra 2-day sail to have to get to the circle. So we're not going to make it to the circle on this one. How many excursions in the 10 days? So we got embarkation day, 2 days in the Drake, 4 full days in Antarctica, 2 days coming home, 1 day disembarkation, 10 full days. During those 4 days, we're going to try and make 2 per day for a total of 8. It doesn't sound like a lot on paper, but I promise you, ask anybody who's been, after those 4 days of going to Antarctica and being outside for 7 to 10 hours a day, you're done. You're like, I'm ready to go home. I've seen it. I am gassed. Time warps. I promise you, the second day that we're out, I'm going to remind you, hey, don't forget, we were only here yesterday morning, and you're going to be like, oh my God, it feels like a week ago. So it's 8 full excursions, which you count, it would be 8 Zodiac cruises and 8 landings. So it's like 16 activities. It's a lot. It's a lot. That's why the 10-day is sort of we call the classic or the cookie cutter. So I think we're going to, the last 2 in the chat, and then we'll just kind of say our goodbyes. And then if anybody has any questions, please do reach out to us. And then there's going to be a link for the for the 10X Antarctica WhatsApp chat. And in that WhatsApp chat, you're going to see a bunch of communities, and those communities they're very clearly labeled. Like if you're already booked, you're joining the booked one. If you're interested and you have a bunch of other questions, you put it in like the Q&A section. Myself, my team, the 10X team will be addressing those questions there. We have a special group there's a little chit chat group that's for you all to just kind of like get to know each other. We don't monitor that one. These chats can get very talkative. We've done this for every group trip so far. So, and then the roommate finder, and then we also have the for those who are doing the private VIP dinner, there's a separate chat in there for you. So that information is going to go out. So do join that, and we'll pick up the questions and answers in that chat from here on until the trip sails. Last couple of questions. Are there any unique sustainability aspects to the ship with regards to the environment? Yes. So actually, the ship that we're using, the Ocean Victory, is been awarded, and you can look this up if you don't believe me. It's been awarded the most environmentally ship to use to travel to Antarctica. It has the lowest carbon emission per passenger in the vessel. They have a very, very robust environmental waste program for separating recyclables, non-recyclable, stuff like that. Their seafood is part of the Sea Watch program, so they're only using sustainably sourced food that it meets a certain criteria set forth by an organization that oversees them called Sea Watch. Our trips are, this is a whole other tangent, I don't want to take up too much time, but we understand that these ships, they use fuel. You need flights to get to these ships. We understand that these trips cost emissions, right? There's a cost there. But these trips are meant to educate and inspire. And we hope that when everybody goes home from these trips, they make small changes in their everyday lives that is going to offset the carbon that they had to spend to visit Antarctica by making long-term changes that will net positive over the course of the lifetime. So these trips are designed we have climatologists, we have marine scientists, we have marine ecologists, we have ornithologists, we have glaciologists, we do climate change summits. We want to talk about these things. We want to inspire you. We want to blow your mind with this kind of information. So the education is just as much that an aspect of these trips as it is to just see the postcards of Antarctica in your brain. So if that's it for the questions, I'm going to say thank you so much to Bryce and for Emily.
Thank you
for partnering with us on this, for trusting us to do this with them, to carving some time out of their days to have a web live with you guys, and thank you for all the audience for such good questions. These are all the things that we want to hear, because you might be asking yourself, might be asking us a question that 10 other people are thinking to themselves. So huge thank you to everybody for being here and for having us. This is one of the most exciting trips I've been looking forward to for a long time.
Us too.
As are we. Yeah. And a quick reminder, everyone, everything goes on sale Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. I wouldn't wait too long if this is something of interest based on kind of what we're seeing with the excitement around this trip. But yeah, thank you, Neil, for coming on, talking about it, answering questions for the readers, getting us all excited. I know I'm more excited than when I started, and I came in with a penguin suit on. Yeah, I guess Emily, anything else you want to add?
Yeah. If you're subscribed to our email list, I'll be sending out a couple more emails before the booking launches. So you'll have the link to the website where you can book, and there's all the trip details that Ricardo has added there. There's a packing list. There's like frequently asked questions on there too. So if you're looking for any information, that's where you'll find it. And if you're not on our email list, you can sign up at my.10xtravel.com. And that way you'll get all the information about the trip.
There is a question there. So where to find the WhatsApp chat? Is that where we can ask for? So I would make sure that WhatsApp group link, let's just put it in every email. We'll put it in the...
Yeah.
We have it set so certain permissions, people can't join certain groups until they've signed up, but I would be sure, just look forward to some stuff from Emily. We'll get that WhatsApp chat out to you. One thing I asked, if you're asking questions in the WhatsApp, keep them in the group chats. Don't necessarily ping us all privately. We're all in different time zones, and my wife, she's 2 a.m. my WhatsApp is going ding 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 ding. So use the group chats. They're really valuable, because if you have a question to ask and there's somebody else thinking the same thing. So use the chats as they're designed.
I'm posting the WhatsApp link in the chat right now.
Awesome.
All right. I think
All right.
that covers it.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll probably do another 1 or 2 of these before the trip departs. You know, I think what we'll do is have a little bit of a webinar. Like once people start joining and stuff, we'll have like a live Q&A where everybody can talk to us. It'll be kind of fun. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. And if you have any other questions, feel free to post them in the Facebook group or email us at contact@10xtravel.com as well. Or you can reach out to Neil and Ricardo. You've probably got a different email. What's that one? info@10xantarctica.com.
10xantarctica.com, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you've got lots of people to reach out to if you have questions. And we're looking forward to launching this. So can't wait to see you.
And like Bryce had said, we're going to go live at 6 p.m. on September 22nd. So you can browse the website, poke around, ask any questions that you guys have now, because once those bookings go live, the kayaking order, the cabin orders, all that kind of stuff, those are all recorded, timestamped by the order that we received the commitment for the trip. So ask all your questions now so that when we go live on at that very moment, you can fill in your form, get your timestamp, get your kayaking position listed. We had over 1,600 people filled out the survey to join this trip. This trip has 189 beds. We will sell out of this trip and it will sell fast. So get those questions in now, send us the emails, and then we'll just, hope that you get a spot on the trip. And we're done.
It's just like a ward space. Thankfully this crowd already knows the deal with seats opening up and having to book fast and doing the research. Yep. So I'm not too worried about it. But
awesome.
All right.
All right.
Thanks everybody
so much.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.